In the cold, unforgiving dawn of another chaotic February morning in 2026, a storm is brewing inside the MAGA world that's got everyone on edge, whispers turning into shouts, loyalty cracking like thin ice, and the man at the center of it all, President Donald Trump, swinging wild as his base starts peeling away. It's the kind of slow-motion meltdown that feels like watching a train wreck you can't look away from, old secrets bubbling up, fresh betrayals hitting hard, and a flood of Epstein documents dumping gasoline on the fire. Trump's name popping up 38,000 times in just the partial release has folks reeling, questioning everything they thought they knew about the guy they fought tooth and nail to put back in the White House. It ain't pretty out there on the front lines of MAGA social media. Take Trisha Hope, a self-proclaimed January 6th activist who's been all in for Trump from day one, rallies, donations, the whole 9 yards. She's posting stuff that's straight gut punch raw, feeling physically sick after pouring her heart into supporting him, only to stare down these files and wonder if she's been backing a monster. I can't fathom the evil mind a person has to have to harm children, she writes, voice shaking through the keyboard. And she's not alone. Threads are blowing up with longtime supporters hitting the same wall, that nauseating moment when the hero mask slips and something darker stares back. With reports of 3 million more documents still locked away, potentially tens of millions of pages, the fear is this is just the tip of a very ugly iceberg. The frustration is spilling everywhere. J.D. Vance posts about a flashy Turning Point USA halftime show lineup, hyping Kid Rock and the crew like it's business as usual. But the base ain't biting. Comments flood in hot. Not one word about the Epstein files from Turning Point or you, JD, but you want us to tune in for a concert. Pound sand. It's that mix of exhaustion and betrayal. Folks who skipped bills to donate, who braved the cold for rallies, now feeling like they're being asked to look the other way while kids' safety hangs in the balance. Even right-wing heavy hitters are piling on. Podcaster Sean Ryan, no stranger to the conservative circuit, straight up mocks the official Trump line pushed by Deputy AG Todd Blanche on Fox with Laura Ingraham. The regime's spin, partying with Epstein ain't a crime. Perfectly normal, nothing to see here. Ryan tears into it, highlighting how tone-deaf it lands when the files keep dropping bombshells. It's the kind of defense that makes supporters cringe, wondering why the narrative feels so forced, so desperate to normalize hanging with a guy whose crimes are legendary. Then there's the personal attacks flying from the top. Trump goes after Congressman Thomas Massie, Kentucky Republican, solid voting record with him at 91%, over Massie's push for a discharge petition to force full Epstein files release. But if Trump claims the documents clear him, why the rage? Instead of thanks, he blasts Massie's wife, Rhonda, floating rumors she's some radical left flamethrower who flipped him liberal. This new union all went so fast that maybe he didn't know what he was getting into, Trump posts, painting her as the villain dragging a good man leftward. Massie fires back quick and sharp. His wife voted for Trump 3 times, ain't no leftist, and she's the one who personally pressed Attorney General Pam Bondi at a dinner about Phase 2 of the files. Bondi swore there were no more, yet here we are, drowning in them. It's a stark warning shot to the base. Step out of line, even to demand transparency on child trafficking horrors, and the knives come out. Loyalty's a one-way street. If you question the cover-up vibes, you're suddenly not MAGA enough. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's ridden or died for Trump through thick and thinner, calls it out. She says he treats his most diehard supporters like garbage. Massie's wife backed him triple. Massie himself aligned 91% of votes, but they won't rubber stamp endless foreign aid or shield Epstein's circle. Greene argues the president ought to value voters like Rhonda Massie, who put him in office, over billionaire donors and their pet foreign agendas. It's rare public friction from MTG, signaling cracks running deep. While all this implodes, Trump's laser-focused on the New York Times griping about Harvard coverage. He's posting rants calling them fake news, corrupt, far-left hacks who won't fact-check their own stories on anti-Semitism and corruption at the university. It's classic deflection, whining about media slights while everyday Americans grind paycheck to paycheck, barely scraping by in an economy that's feeling the squeeze hard. Critics like Democratic Congressman Lou Correa point out the disconnect. Tariffs jacking up costs, businesses passing pain to consumers, and Trump's obsessing over closing the Kennedy Center after a botched rename fiasco. Even Kid Rock reportedly bailed on performing. Now he's demanding $1 billion from Harvard, adding to a wild spree of lawsuits and claims. $5 billion from BBC, $10 billion from IRS Treasury, aka taxpayers, another $5 from JP Morgan Chase. It's a pattern of grievance chasing that feels increasingly detached as real crises mount. The headlines ain't kind. Wall Street Journal pieces lay it bare. U.S. manufacturing in full retreat. Trump's tariffs not delivering the promised golden age. Factories closing, jobs vanishing despite the levies. Allies overseas growing fed up with aggressive, antagonistic foreign policy that's burning bridges left and right. Then there's the gut-wrenching Ukraine situation, timing suspicious as hell. Trump announces a call with Putin, bragging the Russian leader agreed to pause attacks during a brutal cold wave. No missiles into Kyiv or other cities for a week, giving folks a breather. Zelensky expresses cautious gratitude, noting U.S. involvement can force restraint. But hours later, Russia unleashes one of the war's biggest barrages: ballistic missiles, cruise strikes, massive Shahed drone swarms, hammering residential areas in freezing temps. It's a trap straight out of a bad spy thriller: lure with false safety, then hit hardest. In saner times, getting played like this by Putin, right after bragging about the deal, would sink a presidency. On the domestic front, tensions flare with visiting Colombian President Gustavo Petro. MAGA stalwart Congressman Carlos Jimenez greets him with venom, calling Petro a drug-addicted Marxist, ex-narco-terrorist who hates America. Doesn't matter he's duly elected, Jimenez has zero time for enemies. It's blunt, unfiltered hostility that underscores the administration's combative vibe bleeding into everything. Economic undercurrents are turning nasty too. Student loan delinquencies exploding. Severe cases hitting record 3.62 million borrowers. Folks over 271 days late now, 8 times pre-2020 averages. It's a ticking bomb for financial turmoil. Young people crushed under debt while costs skyrocket. And on immigration enforcement, hardline GOP voices dig in deeper. Congressman Mark Harris calls any reform a non-starter. Judicial warrants for ICE? Nope. Forcing agents to drop masks? Hell no, that risks their safety. Anything hamstringing federal ops is dead on arrival. Critics slam it as textbook fascism. Masked raids without warrants, snatching folks in the shadows. Harris insists it's about protecting agents risking lives daily, not playing political games. All this converges into a perfect storm. The Epstein fallout ain't fading. 38,000 mentions feel like a neon sign flashing trouble, especially with more releases looming. Base loyalists like Trisha Hope hitting emotional rock bottom, influencers mocking spin, allies like MTG and Massey catching stray fire. Trump's responses, personal attacks, media beefs, billion-dollar shakedowns, land as tone-deaf while manufacturing slumps, allies bail, Ukraine burns, and debts crush dreams. It's flailing in real time, a movement built on unbreakable loyalty now fracturing over transparency demands. Supporters who bled for him feel discarded the second they ask hard questions. Foreign policy wins turn into embarrassing traps. Economic promises sour as tariffs bite without revival. Everyday headaches, loans, jobs, costs pile up ignored. The big question hanging heavy: how long can the spin hold when the base itself starts walking? Morning posts show the bleed. Sickness, anger, disillusionment. If icons like MTG voice frustration, if 3-time voters get smeared, the dam might burst. Trump's focused on old grudges and flashy fights, but the ground's shifting fast underfoot. This ain't just another news cycle. It's the kind of reckoning that reshapes everything. Loyalty tested against morality, promises against reality. As files keep coming, attacks keep landing, and crises keep mounting, the MAGA world watches its foundation crack. Whether it holds or crumbles wide open, that's the suspense gripping everyone this frigid February morning. The Epstein saga dominates because the numbers hit like a sledgehammer. Partial dump alone burying Trump's name 38,000 times. Social logs, mentions, associations from decades back. Supporters expected vindication. Instead, it's nausea and doubt. Trisha Hope's posts capture the heartbreak. Years of grinding for a cause, now questioning if it was all for a guy tied too deep to darkness. Vance's halftime hype falls flat. Kid Rock cool, sure, but ignoring the elephant in the room. Base calls BS, demands answers over entertainment. Blanche's partying ain't criminal line gets roasted by Ryan and others, feels like minimizing the unforgivable. Trump's Massey feud escalates ugly, smearing a loyal wife's politics, speeding into marriage jabs. Massey's clapback humanizes it. She's no radical, pushed for files herself, voted Trump faithfully. Green's take stings deepest, treating top supporters like trash while chasing donor cash and foreign favors. Trump's NYT obsession and Harvard billion demand fit the grievance playbook, but timing sucks as real pain hits homes. Tariff reality check, no manufacturing boom, just retreat and higher prices. Ukraine betrayal, Trump's touted pause becomes Russia's cue for massacre. Residential hits in deadly cold. Petro welcome, Gimenez's drug Marxist terrorist barbs set hostile tone. Loans crisis, delinquencies skyrocketing, young Americans drowning. ICE stance, Harris's no warrants. Keep masks forever digs in on anonymity and overreach. It's a cascade, personal, political, global. Base turning isn't hype. It's posts, comments, quiet exits. Trump's swinging hard but connecting less. Mourning feels pivotal. Will loyalty snap back or keep fraying? The suspense is thick, answers coming fast in this unraveling drama.